Let's see what we get at. Make sure everything popping. It is at upcoming. This don't need to be upcoming. This need to be live. You hear me? And there we go, man. Peep the game, my friends, my pals. Straight like that, we back. Normal, customary Sunday, 6 p.m. live. You did what I'm saying? Then I was on time today. I was not on CP time today. You will be proud of me. I got prepped a little early. You know what I'm saying? Got everything out the way. And here we go, man. We in the building. Speaking of these lives, man, like I say, it's never discouraging to see low amounts of people in here while I'm on the lives. You dig what I'm saying? At some point to get to where we can go back and forth and have the banter opened up with some live constituents. You understand what I'm saying? But like I say, right now, every now and then we'll get a big following. And for the most part, it's just a little handful of people at the onset when I do it. You know what I mean? But last week, man, oddly enough, I had a live that went crazy, got thousands of views over the course of a couple of days. It was like 2 weeks old. So, that's just a testament of what I be saying, man. Like, I don't really trip on the numbers that's coming in at the moment because, they seem to gain a little steam over the time that they sitting out, man. So, we're back in the building on this Sunday. I hope everybody had a good week. You dig? We live in the United States of America. It's always crazy things going on out here. So, as I always say, man, if you or some of your family members went through something wild, my sincerest condolences and well wishes, man. You know what I mean? A lot goes down out here now. If you brought upon yourself or you was out here cruising for a bruising and somebody pulled up on you, that's another story. I ain't got no sympathy for you, but for the most part, people understand what I'm saying. You dig what I'm saying? So that's how it goes out here in the United States. A lot of crazy things going on, man. This episode right here, we're gonna talk about it. There's been a lot of sports happenings over the last week, and so that's pretty much gonna dominate the conversation. You dig what I'm saying? And I'm guessing, man, the best way to go on and get into this thing straight out the gate is just talk about what we saw. Those of us that watch basketball, the title of the episode is "Let's Talk Ball." You know what I mean? Oh man! So in talking ball, them OKC Thunders, San Antonio Spurs, man, Game 7 last night. And as much as I would like to, and I guess we'll get into it. I guess let's go down the roster. You know what I'm saying? First, let's start with the winning team. Yeah, let's talk about the winning team first since they won. Yeah, I mean, them boys make me nervous as hell though, bro. I ain't gonna cap you down. De'Aaron Fox is back in the game, so I'm confident when he rocking out there at the point. But either for rotation's sake or maybe De'Aaron Fox isn't all the way 100% from his injury, and I guess no player in professional sports once you get down to playoff time is at 100%. So either for that rotation purposes, because it damn sure ain't solid ball playing on the court. But De'Aaron Fox goes out the game a lot. You know what I'm saying? And then here comes Dylan Harper. Now I rock with Ron Harper. Let's not get no confusion in this episode. Straight like that live. Let's not have no confusion in this. I rock with Ron Harper. He come from the WGN. Yeah, man. Them folk made a whole TV station for the world to be able to watch Michael Jordan play basketball. You understand what I'm saying? And I guess the Bulls at large. But Ron Harper was the point guard up there for a good number of years, and he contributed greatly to some winning. Good defender, all that. You know what I'm saying? Great ball player. So I rock with Ron. And Dylan Harper is a great player. He got that lefty swag to him, but he young, man. You know what I'm saying? And you can just see it in his game. Bro, get a little squirrely out there, a little excited, and he play around with the ball a little bit too much, try to do some whirling dervishes. But, with San Antonio, they basically kind of play a one-on-one game and, get down to the paint, kick it back out to somebody for a three-pointer. The NBA is tough to watch a lot of teams, man, because they play that one-on-one basketball style like that. But at any rate, like I said, them boys scared me out there at the point, especially down in the crucial moments of that game. I'm like, oh my God, bro. And they gave up some turnovers and some things. It's like they about to let OKC get back in the game. Wemby, of course, Wemby is a hell of a ball player, man. I didn't watch a whole bunch of their games over the regular season. You know what I'm saying? The clips and the parts that I did watch, though, you know what I'm saying? It reiterated the fact that yeah, this guy here is different, man, and it's being shown to the world in this playoff series. You know what I mean? Now, I don't. It's really not a lot to say about the Spurs and Wemby, man. They played a great game, a great series, and I think they're gonna win the shit. I called it a couple of weeks ago in my live. I said you heard it here first. It would be the Spurs and the Knicks in the championship in the NBA Finals. I called it a couple of weeks ago. Um, but I think his impact, man, was more shown on the effect he had on people on the other side of that ball game. You did what I'm saying on the other side of that series, because throughout the season, in 5 or 6 matchups, 5 of 6, I should say, the Spurs beat the Thunder. You know what I mean? They had their number all year. And like I said, I didn't watch a lot of the game, so I didn't really know about the little rivalry. I didn't know, that was brewing between him and a one Chet Holmgren. Yeah, man, we got to get all. Matter of fact, let's get everybody else down. Let's just go straight to Chet because yeah, we'll go down. Let's get to Chet because he was the most glaring disappointment, man. And Chet, I came into the series, I guess the last couple of matchups that OKC was playing against. I guess. All right. I started to be honestly now, I started to break down on Shai and the Oklahoma City Thunder last year. You know what I'm saying? I just thought they were kind of corny with it, and then just the flopping. You know what I'm saying? I was watching the playoff series, and they're a very hard filing team, and then they flop and complain about calls on the other end, and just being the athlete, a prior athlete. You know what I'm saying? I think a different level of anger come with it because it's like, boy, these niggas out here playing like some kids. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't like it, so I started souring on them like a year ago. You know what I'm saying? When ball knowers know what Shai was doing. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was some controversy around him winning the MVP last year. And you look at other people, and so it was like, all right, that's when I started to kind of get sour on it. I still like Chet though. I had no problem with Chet, bro. I thought Chet was, what I'm saying? I thought Chet was on his game, in his bag, and he usually is. But it is quite obvious that when he runs up against a 7-footer, I don't even know that I said in the prior episode, it's just as better skilled than him and all of that. Apparently, it's more to the story. You know what I'm saying? I've since learned that this rivalry with Chet and Wemby goes back to the FIBA World Cup, which is a basketball event. You dig what I'm saying? And Wemby was playing with the French team, France, and Chet Holmgren being from I think he's on the USL, the Canadian team, and they beat him. I remember I saw a little clip of it, and Wemby was on the sideline looking distraught. You know what I'm saying? He take this basketball thing serious, and I'll speak on that and what that may get him in the future. But he had the Jaxson look on his face. You know what I'm saying? And apparently he is hard, but that anger gives him one Chet Holmgren the entire time that, since that happened. You know what I mean? And so when he matches up with Chet, bro, it's like he just gives his ass the bid. You know what I'm saying? Give him the straight business. They show, I watched some clips a little while ago. It showed when they pass Chet the ball, he look up and see Wemby and just immediately give. I mean, Wemby hadn't even closed out on him. You know what I'm saying? He's just looking at him. Pass it off. They come right back to him. He flopping all around on the ground. Wemby going to get his shit every time he go up. You know what I'm saying? Chet was just looking crazy. But I'm gonna tell you when I knew it was over with for Chet Holmgren. Game 1 when Wemby put up them what was that, like 44 and 24 type action, that double overtime game. They put the camera over there on Chet, and Chet was over there. It was so fake, bro. One of them, you're trying to convince yourself, yeah, you got this, bro. That's all right. We gonna get him, man. You're gonna get over. It's just a bad game. He's not better than you. That's what you tell yourself in his head. You dig what I'm saying? I knew it right then. And then that series went stretching out. I had a feeling they was gonna take it to 7. That seems to be a theme in Especially in the NBA with the 7 game series. When it's a good one, you know what I'm saying? When it's a good matchup, either because of it's just a good matchup. But you can't say it's a good matchup because a couple of those games, 2, 3 of them ended in pretty much blowouts. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why would these games come down to the wire and these be blowouts? But I think Game 7 was like the true. That was the true test. That was the true show of the two teams and how they match up when they are playing and giving they all 100% go with no other ulterior motives and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because 1 through 6, again, I think it's stretched out for a couple of different purposes. But I think that Game 7, man, was a real matchup. You did what I'm saying, and they gave it all they got, bro. And they exposed the OKC Thunder. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, man, you heard this here first here too. I would not at all be surprised that if in a year or two from now, a couple of basketball seasons from now, I would not be at all surprised to see the type of videos circulating, popping up entitled "What Happened to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?" You know what I'm saying? Another Markel Fultz situation. Another being what his name is, stole all that money out there in Philadelphia, man. A nigga from LSU, Australian cat. Being whatever, being Simmons. You know what I'm saying? I would not at all be surprised, bro, because even though he balled, he went for 35. He was like 12 or 21 last night. Good game, 9 assists, 3 steals, all that. He filled up the stat sheet. For me, bro, um, and especially prior to Game 7, like every time they put the camera on, bro, after like Game 2, when who was it? I want to say Sham Sharani. If I'm not mistaken, I think Sham Sharani put out a whole story, a whole write up, a whole article detailing how much Gilgeous-Alexander stays on the ground, and it was at a magnitude of like 10% or so more than any other player in the league. You know what I'm saying? And it really caught on because you started to see the coverage and all the people on TV like really like, because everybody had been seeing it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had been seeing it, but it wasn't egregious. But I think when he was on the verge to backing on his MVP and another championship and getting it cheap like that, people like, man, nah, bro. And I ain't gonna hold you. For me, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just hating, but I don't even. It's something about people dressing alike that just irked the hell out of me. You dig what I'm saying? So when I saw bro with his whole little presentation when he gave everybody the Burberry coats and the APs and all that after his MVP win, and they was all sitting over there on the side doing this little speech, all had their Burberry coat. I thought it was lame as hell, cuz you dig what I'm saying? And they just kiddie like that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, every time cuz give an interview, it's like all them coming stand behind him, and they just silly, bro. You can just tell just a bunch of young ball players, they still kids, bro. And they say most professional athletes, they're just big kids because they really never get an opportunity to have to grow up and be in the real world. Because when you're a star athlete, for the most part, you're a star, hell, like elementary times. You know what I'm saying? Like Pee Wee League ball, you standing out. You know what I'm saying? And people start noticing. Most certainly by the time you get to high school, you ain't got to do shit in high school to be an athlete. You know what I mean? They pass you on through there. You get your scholarship and go to some school. They do the same thing. You get drafted to go to the league, and you've never had to even learn how to. You know what I'm saying? So they said that about a lot of them. So that kind of irked me about their whole little situation, man. But I think you could see starting in about Game 2 when we looking at the referees and you kind of cringe and wince and turning your head as soon as one of them go down because you just know they about to call it, blow the whistle. But you started to notice that by Game 2, and Game 2 was back in no it wasn't. But right there around about Game 2, you started to notice that whistle wasn't being called. And I be jam. I know like Games 3 and 4 for sure. I'm like, man, it's odd as hell how Shai is not on the ground as much. So you could stand up after all. It just he really gave away the whole plot. You know what I'm saying? And you put the camera on his face. Now he's usually got a little stoic look on his face, anyways, bro. But for the body language that I feel like I'm capable of reading, and just kind of being able to think I feel like what I know is like to be in the moment. You know what I mean? From a sports perspective, I'm like, bro, it's in his head. You can tell that he understands that he looks different when he's not getting 15 foul shots a game. You know what I'm saying? Now, some people have done some analysis out there and will say how much he really don't get from the free throw line or something, this, that, and the third, bro. But averages don't tell you a story, bro. You know what I'm saying? You could average two different things out, and they have a same type of hovering point. But when you take them into context, when these things happen and all of that, like it paints a different picture. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, a lot of people foul bait. Flopping has been a thing in the NBA. I don't know why they act like it's such a uh, just hard to believe story that this guy would do it at that level. You know what I'm saying? It's been a thing, and he just kind of took advantage of it. They've had to change rules in the past because of people with that swipe through. Hard used to be bad about that. They had to change the rule about you being able to, jump towards someone when you get them in the air. Like it's been a lot of little things, and I think this is one that they really gonna have to tighten up because the world kind of turned on bro on a dime. It was kind of crazy to see, but I spoke on that kind of thing in one of the episodes I put out earlier about Gilbert Arenas, and we'll get to that. But I said Gilbert had better watch out because we live in a fickle world, bro. And if you know what it is in the culture with black people, bro, we would spin the block on your ass right quick. I guess it's a bad analogy because it's like we coming back around. But when you know what happened when you spin the block, we come through and we mop that. That's over with. Like we would cancel your ass, bro. You think cancel culture ain't a thing no more. Like, and because black people, bro, we really don't have the luxury of giving people too many inches. You dig what I'm saying? Like, so it's like with the culture with us, bro, we would X-nay you. You know what I'm saying? Especially boy these days, like, yeah, we'll get you up out of there. You start looking like a turncoat. But yeah, bro, I would not be surprised because the world turned on Cuz pretty quick. And it was so obvious though, like he did it with no shame. So I would not be surprised, bro. Mark it here. This is the 31st of May, Sunday, 2026, bro. I would not be surprised that in a year or two from now, if you don't see people start making videos on the disappearance of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the basketball court. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it was in his head, bro. I think he knows that um, if people choose to defend the back-to-back MVP, and again, in the world we live in these days, it's plenty jealous people, it's plenty headhunters, whatever you want to call them, that's going to be gunning to do the same thing to SGA that the Spurs did to him throughout this series, and that's get on his hip. You dig what I'm saying? And now we apparently see that the referees are not going to give him that call. And so, with that being said, bro, I don't see. He looked a little regular to me. You dig what I'm saying? Now, 20 points a ball game type action. I can see that. Because I'm going to tell you what exposed it, bro. I'm going to tell you what exposed it. Because if you know basketball, you got to understand. Fouls slow the game down. It's all type of things that come in with that. But I'm going to tell you what it exposed. In order for Shai to get 35 points, getting it out the mud and not, going to the line and slowing the game down, bro, that is not a winning formula for OKC. You know what I'm saying? That is not a winning formula because he balled out. Now, there's not a Wemby on every team. There's not a person on every team that can guard Chet Holmgren the way that Wemby did. You dig what I'm saying? But Chet had a lot of little dudes on him throughout the series because it's like Wemby, it's like if you play Madden, bro, you dig what I'm saying? If you play Madden, there's a trait that one of your defensive linemen can get. It's called it's like the boogeyman emblem or whatever, intimidation. And it's like when you trying to rush the passer, you don't even have to necessarily get to him. The fact that you just push your offensive lineman back a step or two closer to the quarterback, it's like the quarterback start feeling the heat from you, just your presence, your aura, and he'll move off the spot. I guess Chet kind of got that with Wemby, bro. It's like if Wemby is in the game, if he is anywhere close, bro, it's like he just got his kryptonite. So not every team has that, but again, it wasn't always Wemby on him. And if we're gonna take a page out of the book of what they did to Wemby, which is just body him all around, that's one fatal flaw that Wemby's got in his game, and that's just his anatomy. You know what I'm saying? He tall as all outdoors, can move well, and all of that, but he ain't got no weight on him, bro. It's easy to just to mush him around under there, like, and from the way he plays, he's not. I guess because it's easy to move him off the spot, he's not a down low post up guy, and I guess no one really is in the NBA these days. But you would expect, I would expect, especially being on a team, the lineage of a Greg Popovich. You understand? And having a goddamn it, Tim Duncan and a David Robinson sitting in the stands. You would think that Wemby would have a absolutely lethal post game. You understand me? You would think he would. You would think if Wemby gets the ball anywhere close to the paint, like it's donezo. And it's not necessarily like that, man, because again, you can move him off the spot. He doesn't seem to done developed like a little fade away off the glass, a la Tim Duncan. As tall as he is, seem like bro to have him a hook, but niggas be want to be too pretty and innovative, new, creative in the league these days. Seem like Cubs ought to have him off the glass, ought to have him a Kareem in his bag, and he'll be stupid lethal, bro. If he had the trait, and now I pulled my hat about this when I watch Wemby play basketball. You learn this early in basketball, bro. For instance, I ain't but like 6'1" and a quarter, but when I played junior league basketball, I was taller than everybody else. So I played like the 4, maybe even the 5. I learned then when we get the ball to you up here and everyone else's arms and heads is down here, do not bring the ball down and now give these low level employees an opportunity to play on your level. You dig what I'm saying? Keep the ball up, turn around, spot up, jump, or what have you, or at least turn around and look and get your wits about you. But Wemby is bad about getting the ball and immediately turning around, facing up, and got the ball down low like he's some little point guard from triple threat position and ready to do a 1-2 hezzy dribble spin move. And that's another thing, bro. His bag has got to evolve. Cause I know Wemby, what Wemby finna do every time. He gonna face up, he gonna dribble, and it's like he don't get into post control and back you down. He always trying to do some guard shit, and he's 7'4". He gonna make some little dribble and try to spin move into position instead of just turn his body, face somebody up a couple times, and now you can go either direction. You got your eyes up to see all your little 3-point shooter Castles and Champagne. Dig what I'm saying? Dylan Harbors. But again, he'll get that. He'll get that together. I think if Pop was on the sideline, bro, I think Wemby would be an absolute terror to deal with. You understand? They won 60 games now. I don't get it confused. But I think he would be a terror, bro, if Pop could get a hold to him. When Pop came and cussed him out, they came out and won the next game. You know what I'm saying? I think after they lost game 2, they say Pop came in there and locked the doors on their young ass. You dig what I'm saying? Gave them nothing but smoke. You understand? And they came out popping. But yeah, I think if Pop was out there, man, he'll have his low post game because he bad about getting that ball right there at the free throw line, bro, and immediately turning the face up, and inevitably they hacking at his arm, strip the ball. They don't call foul on that enough, but I think it's kind of a punishment because I think everybody watching, referees included. I like, bro, the ball should not even be down there for them to swipe at your arms. So every time your tall, I almost called him goof. I ain't gonna call him goof because I rock with him. But every time your 7'4" anatomy person, every time you make yourself 3 feet tall, we're going to let you have to live with the consequences of that action. You know what I'm saying? Um, so he got to get that into his game, man. But like I said, I think the most standout thing from this, man, is just the way that they made OKC look. You start out in the series, they let Alex Caruso go crazy. And I was watching the Baja podcast and Theo, I will say I make a lot of jokes when I just be talking about Theo and them because I say he be trying hard to be like a personality. But I like Theo talks some good ball. You dig what I'm saying? Theo knows ball. I would say that. And I will also say, I went in the comments and said as much. I was watching one of their lives about a week or two ago, and they went in and they played Theo's little high school mixtape. And I was not familiar with Theo Penson's game. That's funny, bro. It make me feel crazy because I made a joke about because he had played in the G League. It was just in the presence of other basketball players. I wasn't saying like, nigga, you wasn't trash using the G League. I was making a joke when they was all into it, Rashad and the Gils Arena and all of that. And so, you know what I mean? But it's like you'll look at a nigga away because he played in the G League. And to NBA players, they can shit on the G League. But of course, I can't. Niggas on the G League or run me out the gym. I'm understanding of that. But it's like me saying that and joking on bro because of that. But then you seeing his high school mixtape. Now, all of that maybe didn't transfer necessarily to college and the NBA. But it's like, boy, that nigga was a dog, bro. I did not know Theo that was that nice. I ain't gonna hold you. So, give props what they do, man. But in the midst of this his series right here, I forgot what I was saying, but I know what I was saying, but I forgot exactly what thought I was on. But like I said, man, they made them boys look crazy, bro. We was talking about Alex Caruso and all that. So yeah, they kind of adjusted that. Caruso, he went for like 12 last night, but I'm willing to live with a matchup where Alex Caruso is your next best threat after your 2-time MVP. You did, and it's so crazy to have to say that because you got Chet over there. You know what I mean? Now you got the Jalen Williams cat, and I think the Dylan Mitchell cat didn't play last night, but uh. From what we understood, they said they play better without the Jalen Williams cat, and somebody probably gonna get traded because I heard them boys got like $250 million in salary that they set to pay next year. They jumping from like 180 million this year to like 250 million next year. That's when they gonna start paying the max contract to Chet Holmgren. Chet, like 4 year, 259 million, something like that. So he started getting his 41.5 million next year. You know what I mean? So, but them boys are already winning the championship and going right back to another one. I don't imagine any of them are, on any kind of a hot seat. You know what I'm saying? As an organization, you can't pull that kind of card. Now the Cason Wallaces of the world, the Dylan Mitchells of the world, what's the little point guard dude? A little short got to be shooting. Now they liable to be dealt, and it'll be a good thing. At least I guess if I'm saying from the perspective of they have trade value now. You know what I'm saying? Like if you win a championship, you're on a championship team, bro. You could be down the bench, but all of a sudden the next year, bro, all kind of teams want you on their team in their locker room because they just feel like you can instill into their squad what it takes to be a championship level competitor. Well, you dig what I'm saying? If we get to the playoffs, we can put Tim Judd Bushler in here, and he been to the championship a couple times, so he can go in there and be a calm presence. And a lot of times that's true, but a lot of times they give value to players. It's like, nah, he the same number 10 guy on the bench that he was last year, you know what I'm saying? But it adds some swag to you know what I mean? So I could see a couple of them leaving and going to a team and kind of be more like in a starting role and more like the man because, this is Cason Wallace from the champion Oklahoma City Thunder. He put on for his city, you know what I'm saying, as far as the role they need him to do. But before that game, I heard Vince Carter say, the key to it is Cason Wallace and what he gonna do. And I said right then, bro, if the key to you winning a game, I hate when I hear announcers say this, bro. The bench is gonna make a difference. The bench is gonna be the key to win the game. Now, I don't think that's ever the case, bro. The bench wins games a lot of times, but you cannot go into a game thinking about what the niggas that don't start gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Like that don't even make sense, bro. You depend if the dude on the bench was that fine, then we would just take one of y'all out and put him in the starting lineup. You dig what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, I don't like that little analogy, but when I heard him say Casey Wise is gonna be the difference maker, so yeah, no, that's not a good setup for a win in the game seven. In a game seven, you looking to a bench player? Like what? That don't even make sense. You gotta look to your five that's out there, bro. And they didn't help Shai at all, man. But again, I think they exposed the fact that you can let Shai. I used to say this about LeBron. You said about LeBron. You could get right in a 30 for him every night, right? But he doesn't have his 30 isn't the type of 30 that lends the now these days, LeBron, because he's much of a facilitator the last handful of years. But for a long time, I felt that LeBron's 30-point effort was just too heavy. You know what I'm saying? It required too much ball control. You know, when he would pass the ball on offense, it would come right back to him. You know what I'm saying? Like for you to get points around on the LeBron team, it should have to be all rebounds and maybe some fast breaks or something. In the half court, he seemed to dominate the ball a little too much. So I was like, his 30 points is really like a negative. You know what I'm saying? Now since then he's gotten his IQ. Well, I ain't gonna say his IQ up. He's been had IQ, but you know he's settled into more of a facilitator role and just make sure the team go forward. And so, I think that's the same thing with Shai because again, bro, let's be honest, my nigga. Shai was in the league like 4 years with I think Sacramento or something like that before he went to OKC. He was a good player, but he wasn't the Shai we used to see now. You know what I'm saying? And that's before this new little style came in. So I'm like, bro, I think Shai is probably he's a 20 something a point game player. When you add in the style that he played with prior to looking like the referees finna stop calling that shit, yeah, that's a 30-35 a night guy. But the guy that Shai is, that I feel that he is, for that guy to go for 35 a night, it's kind of like that first game when Caruso scored all them points, but they still lost. I think a 35-point effort from Shai is too heavy for OKC. Because if it's not coming with half of them being free throws, bro, he's not like a breakdown dribbler or just a leaper or what I mean. He created his shot in the mid range. Well, boy, take them to 20 mid ranges to get 40 points. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I think it'll be too heavy, and I think that proved it last night. He went for 35. But the rest of the team, whatever they got, it just wasn't good enough. Now, again, in a lot of games, you're not gonna have a Wemby on the other side that has Chet out there feeling like a small school kid. But I think there's a formula to beating them now. You know what I'm saying? Because they used to just run through everybody, bro. Just on the fast breaks all the time. But again, I think that the play has changed up due to the scrutiny that everybody put on it. And I just, you know what I'm saying? I would not be surprised, man, to see some major changes in the way that they play, man, and the success of that team, and just them individual profiles. Because them boys, even though it was a game seven, bro, like it was even though it was a game seven, it's like, bro, you look back at that series, and it's like you just get the overwhelming thought. It's like, man, the Spurs dominate. You know what I'm saying? It's like they, for who we thought OKC was, and back to back with this MVP. It's just like it never felt confident, man. Like I said, when they put the camera on Cuz a lot of times, man, I thought that he had some very bad posturing about himself. You dig? I didn't necessarily watch the post game after the game to see what they were saying. I saw a little bit of Chet, but I kept moving on to something else, man. But that was an interesting view into the psyche of both of those players. Like I said about Wemby, man, Wemby seems to be a killer, bro. That's the thing that we kind of complained about with LeBron for a long time in comparison to a MJ or a Kobe. You dig? Like MJ literally wanted to, you know what I mean? He literally wanted to harm you on the court, bro. You know what I mean? Kobe, for all I know, he was the same way. I think a lot of it was emulation of MJ, but we hear a lot of stories about people that played with him. And Kobe was a dog. He cutthroat out there. You got people like Chris Paul. We friends off the court, but on the court, I can't stand you, bro. I'm trying to run through you. And we are, LeBron he's a nice, fun going guy, and being who he was in the league, and coming up his whole basketball journey. The whole basketball world just kind of looked up to him, and so everybody is friendly with him. He ain't really fired up at nobody on the court, and they shaking hands afterwards, and on video chats together. You know what I'm saying? But this is a different league, just worldwide. I've always hated that about NFL football. I've always hated that, bro, in the NFL football game. But then I'm like, well, maybe because you can literally about them lose your life playing football. It's a dangerous game. You get out there injured bad. So maybe at the end of the game, regardless of us being on opposite sides of football competitors, maybe that's why they be all cool and dapping up. But of course, some of these cats went to school together and played on prior teams and all that. But I never I never take the NFL serious, man, because at the end of these hard fought football games, they just be in the middle of the field. Everybody, oh man, what the strip club we going to? I just bought that new Roar. I got a Roar outside. So but he just don't enjoy your money, my nigga. Don't let me spend your pockets or spend your money, and I'll tell you how you lead life. But that was just a bone I used to always have to pick with the NFL. Um, but yeah, but it was an interesting look, man. I don't know if the NBA had a vested interest in trying to get OKC to the finals again. A couple people thought it was gonna go a certain way because like they the golden children of the NBA. I don't know if that's a thing, but they most certainly and at home, you know what I'm saying? Game 7 at home, Chet 4 points, 2 shots. This man shot 2 shots all night. Who does that? What you got here making the most at their organization? Out here taking the list sick days. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, that don't even make sense. I guarantee you, the person making the most money at any company take the most days off. I promise you. Nigga, Chet, $41.5 million coming to him. This nigga put up 2 shots. It don't even. It was just crazy, bro. Wemby had him. He was all in his head, man. And like I'm saying, man, in sports, bro, stuff like that can really throw you off your square. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna be interested to see what type of ball playing Chet does going forward, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because I think, and he sits back and think about, because I saw him pass the ball out a bunch of times yesterday under the rim. That told me? That told me that even if I go in here and get fouled, it's gonna look fake. So I'm just not even gonna try it. You know what I'm saying? Because then usually he went up with that shot, went down to the ground. He ain't even attempt the layups a lot of times, bro. Because I think it's in his head, like, man, if I hit the floor, I'm just gonna be hitting the floor repeatedly for no reason. They ain't gonna call it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we're gonna see where that go going forward, man. It was a hell of a thing to watch. Shy shrunk is what I had written down. He most certainly shrunk, man. Shout out to Wemby and them Spurs. I think they gonna throttle the Knicks in like a gentleman's sweep. Um, the Knicks guy, I don't know if I can say the Knicks got better guard play. Jalen Brunson is a true point guard. You know what I mean? I guess De'Aaron Fox is too. Uh, But just imagine a Jalen Brunson type, like out the gate. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I don't know. Jalen Brunson shoot a lot. I need somebody that know how to throw some oops and know how to get that offense started, man, for Wemby to get down there and set up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, bro. Maybe that's a little old school for the NBA of today, but I just think he'll score another 10, 15 points a game, and they'll basically blow out everybody they play. because you're gonna slow it down, and then you damn near guaranteeing points if you let them get down there and work. And of course, they'll double team him or something. But with all these shooters you got out there, you got more space. It's centralized. Everybody can, instead of the double team coming and he's still on the move. So, the defender floating closer to this shooter in the corner boys and all of that. As in, other than when he on the block and he go to bag down and post somebody up and the double team come. Everybody is in a standard position. You dig what I'm saying? Like they stuck. Like you know where the defenders are. You can get yourself in position to have this open shot, and with at 7-4, he can look over everything, bro. You know what I'm saying? Get it to him. So shout out to them Spurs, man. I think they're finna get him a ship. And avenge not getting that MVP trophy, man. Now let's move on to some other sports, but we know it's basketball, but just not active players. You dig what I'm saying? So it's actually the last show I put out. Go and check that out if you will. So Gilbert Arena, shout out Gil, man. You know what I mean? I talk about them boys all the time, man. I went through my whole little basketball sports spiel and my classification and my time of year graduating and all that, and I would have been in and around, him and Kenyon and Nick. All of them is around the same little year. So BJ, Brandon Jennings, you know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, man. Had I excelled and went up that high, you dig what I'm saying? I would have been around in one of those classes. But I rock with them boys. I be on their ass a lot because, again, athletes are big kids, man. So they have a lot of cringe takes coming from over there on that couch at Gils Arena. But that is precisely the thing that I want to talk about. Because apparently there is no more Gils Arena. Well, at least in the iteration that we remember seeing it. You understand what I'm saying? We know Gil had some little legal trouble. Hear about last year. Whole little gambling operation. Had laser poker tables and card readers and things of this here nature and gambling houses. You understand what I'm saying? Gilbert went back to his show. He went to jail for like a day or two, maybe something like that. But when he went back to the show, it's like, I don't know, you could tell like the algorithm stopped favoring him as much. You know what I'm saying? Like those views went down to about halfway, and then shortly thereafter, I think the name came off of it. Yeah, the name came off of it. And that sparked some questions around here. Everybody like, what the hell? It went from Gil's Arena to the arena. Everybody like, what the hell going on? So, Gil had to come out and address that. And that's when we find out that despite us thinking that Gilbert has bossed up, because he would have you think that he had just bossed up and put all of this in his basement on the strength of Gil. I'm the owner of Gilbert Arenas. This the type of Michael Jackson shit I do. He would have us to believe that. But in all actuality, he was in the 50-50 partnership with Underdog Sports. You understand what I'm saying? A little betting site. So they paying for all of that. You know what I'm saying? Which isn't a bad thing. A 50-50 business deal, whatever, happens all the time. But, Gil was capped out like he just boss numero uno. You know what I mean? Right? It's like you don't even really own it, bro. And then they shooting it in his house. So this is where the conflicts come in. But yeah, like we said, his name comes up off of it. He comes out and addresses that. And then all of a sudden you start to see Skip Bayless on the show. The minute I saw that, bro, I thought that was, for one, and maybe it wasn't his decision, but I think it was, bro. I'm going to put it on Gil for right now. If I'm wrong, then we'll clean it up later. But I feel like it was Gil bringing Skip in. Ooh, it'd be diabolical if it was an Underdog, bro. Oh, well, I explain it from both sides. We'll get on both of their ass. But I'm like, I feel like in the instance that it was Gil that brought Skip in, um, it could be a couple of reasons behind that. Last year, Gil made a couple appearances, or maybe had like a month long stretch, or what have you. I think this was before he ran into his troubles. He was appearing on First Take with Stephen A. You understand what I'm saying? I think Stephen A even came on their show at some point. And he mentioned a couple times, like, I'm trying to get this deal in this ESPN. They talking, they keep bringing me back. So, we just gonna see what happens. How Gil get. So he was teasing the fact that they were interested in bringing him on to be a permanent part of First Take, and they probably were, because since then they got Cam on there, and they've been, and tried a couple of different people. So I don't doubt that he was lying. He was certainly on there. So, but once he ran into them little problems, I guess they threw that idea out the window. But now, like I said, if you brought, I'm thinking he may have brought Skip on because that's like, he think he boss move shouted. And then, okay, Stephen A, since you don't want to get me on First Take, and you went with them and poo pooing my name just because I went through these little troubles that I didn't have nothing to do with, that I'm gonna snitch in, or have already snitched, by the way, if you let Gil tell it. Maybe there was like a FU to Stephen A. You know what I mean? Because I've heard them boys have some smoke for Stephen A. here lately. So maybe it was a FU to Stephen A. to bring Skip back on. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm not mistaken, Skip went on with Stephen A. like last week. You know what I mean? Which was just all kind of crazy timing, man. But yeah, if Gil brought him back in trying to pull a boss move, it's like he bought the what's the analogy? He bought the fox to the hen house. I guess that'd be a way of putting it. That would be crazy. You brought in your own replacement. You know what I mean? And I think that could have been the play. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, trying to boss up on Stephen A. Now, from the angle of if Underdog brought him in, then I guess it was obvious from the time they brought him in. You understand? If they just up one day, after Gil came back off of his troubles, if they just up one day in the board meeting, the production meeting or what have you, it's like, yeah, man, we got a good idea, man. We've been in touch with Skip Bayless's agent. He reached out. He's expressed desires to get back out here in the media world and go around a couple places and see if something fits. And we thought it'd be interesting to bring Skip on for a show or two or four. You know what I mean? I could completely see that. But if that's how it went down, and I'm sure they probably did. Gil probably did. But if that's the way it went down, you should have known what was on the pipeline. You know what I'm saying? But who cares about Skip Bayless though? Like, now, I said in my episode, if that is indeed what has happened, if he's been fired off of his show, uh, and replaced by, I don't know if would you say he's replaced by Skip Bayless, because it's not the same aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? We got the impression that this show was being shot in Gil's basement. Gil is a former legendary basketball player, um, eclectic personality type of guy. You know what I mean? Big, boisterous, never takes anything serious. May have some cold takes, but it was from just the whole different angle. The cold takes that came out of Skip mouth sounded cold for a particular reason. You know what I'm saying? He was a staunch hater of LeBron James. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this type of guy went to Vanderbilt. Let me not cast no dispersions on Vanderbilt. They in the SEC, and I rock with the SEC. But yeah, it was a conversation about the most racist schools in the SEC. And I guess we'll get to that through the other guy we're talking about as we get down to it. But yeah, Gil, man, I don't know if I don't know that I would look at a Skip replacement as being viable to a Gil, so I don't really know how good business sense it would make. Yeah, he's a polarizing personality, but it's been a good handful of years since Skip was on TV. He looks a lot older now. And people kind of moved on past the controversy and emotions that Skip Bayless brought up. You know, we heard his name. So I don't know how good of a move that was, but I guess it's a couple angles, bro. What are the people on the show, the Rashads and all of them? You know what I'm saying? Well, did they approve it and they have some input on it? But I don't think Skip Bayless led, but it's another white lady they bring in to be like a moderator sometimes, like in the place of Josiah. So it's like they trying all kind of different formats. A key to live come in sometime, and it's like a rotating thing. They're kind of doing what Gil was doing, but I guess again it's kind of centered around. But I even see Skip not there sometimes. So maybe they just gonna run it. But you've got to have one staple, you know what I mean, or two staples. But I guess that would be Rashad and Brandon Jennings talking football. Mm, I don't think that's gonna work, Underdog. Even if you had Rashad and BJ there to maintain the basketball talks, I don't think that'll get it. They get on Rashad because he ain't have like a 4-year career and he was ducking smoke. So I don't know if they could have too many basketball conversations that, and I guess in the world of generating clicks, maybe it'll be a gold mine because it'll be a steady amount of what did these niggas just say? You know what I'm saying? If they're gonna be the show carriers, and I don't know that they're a show carrier type of personality. I'm sure Rashad probably thinks he is, but if that's underdogs plan to think that they're gonna rival the numbers or at least make, and maybe they just looking at it like it being to make enough to justify it, but I don't think they got a better product put together without Gil than they did with Gil. Now, with that being said, Gil just came out with a video the other day and he showed us a new setup. Again, from what I understand, they shooting the show in his basement. So it's like, damn, bro, do they niggas have to walk by your set? Yeah, I can imagine Gil, because Gil petty as hell, bro. I can imagine Gil down there on his set while they shooting the show. Like, nigga walk in the morning, Gil be having the flow shined up again. Flow is already immaculate. I can see that nigga have a whole crew in there, you know what I'm saying? Playing mariachi music or so. I could give petty as hell, you know what I mean? I can see him over there trying out different angles with his camera or something. When they right beside him shooting, he won't give up no. Nigga, my camera is right here on this line, bro. Do not move. You feel I can see him. I can already see him, dog. So I'm like, damn, if they shoot both of these in the basement, that's got to be awkward, right? But knowing Gil and Pettis he is the king of awkward. So I would not put it past Gilbert Arenas to have an entirely new setup right there beside the setup where Skip and them shooting at. Because he said showed a new set. He said basically that when the basketball season comes in, all of you people out there talking basketball, low lights, yeah, Baja, yeah, uh, out the mud, yeah. Gil said, y'all might as well just stop your podcast because he said all of the awards, all the podcasting accolades are his. And he showed us a little setup. Setup looked clean as hell. And from what I could count, I thought I saw 5 chairs. I would only imagine that. This is what I'm thinking though, bro. Because also in the video, he's like, could it be that Kenyon and all of them are some Uncle Tom house boys or something? He's like, I don't know, could be. But the way he said it, I get the feeling, and I'm almost sure, bro. I talk a lot of shit and make a lot of jokes about them niggas. But them niggas would not be anyone in the podcast and content space were it not for Gilbert and Gil's Arena. I have got to believe that they some real niggas than to just continue to work for Underdog and not go over there and rock with Gil. So I'm almost sure that the crew is just picking up from them and going on over there with Gil, but it's yet to be seen. He said he's gonna get it popping a little closer to NBA season time, you know what I mean? But it was crazy because they was just joking about Pat Bev a couple weeks ago and about him getting snaked up out of his show by a couple white guys, and I'll be damned, a couple weeks later he'll go Skip still sitting on the couch and Gil at home on the computer, you know what I mean? But Gil keep a plan cooked up. Gil kind of remind me of myself in that aspect, bro. Like I always be having some little plans and all that, you know what I'm saying? So Gil keeps something cooking up. So I would be, I'm about 95% sure that that's what's happening. That middle chairs for Josiah. The chair to the left of Josiah is Gil. The chair to the right of Josiah is Kenyon. To the right of Kenyon is Rashad. Across from Rashad is Brandon. Oh, hold on. 5 chairs. Let's name the main players. Josiah, Gil, Nick Young, Brandon Jennings, Kenyon Martin, Rashad McCants. Oh, son. Thoughts come to me, son. Because I heard Patrick Beverly, right? Patrick Beverly responded to them niggas joking about him, you know what I mean, losing his show. And Gilbert's news. And in his video, he said, damn, I was just the other day getting a text from Rashad McCants, which is odd because it's him and Rashad cool now. I hadn't heard that. But Pat Bev claimed that he was getting texts from Rashad McCants talking about how much he did not want to work with the people over there at Gils Arena. And from the way Gil be on him, because Gil did, I said something about it. Gil came back right here, right before all of this broke, and he had been gone for a couple of weeks. Gil came back for like a couple episodes, and then one that I was watching, I forget the take that Rashad was coming with, but it was clear that Gilbert was like just came back just to give him some smoke. Because Rashad called it out. He was like, damn, brother, did you just come back to argue with me? Because Gil was on his ass. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't at all be surprised if Pat Bev is telling the truth. I don't see why he would lie about that. Um, yeah, I don't see why he would lie about that. So if that's the case, and that's true, and they've been feeling that heat coming up off that couch over there, son, I can see Rashad being the odd man out. Because I said oh man, bro, if it play like this would be, how would that be handled though? If it play out like this, like I could totally see Underdog would be so lame for this. But I've seen a couple shows here lately that just involve those two. I could completely see Underdog going forward with their new host and Skip and Rashad and whoever else they bring on. I could completely see Underdog going that direction because, Rashad say some crazy stuff, but I don't know how wild him and Skip could get into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't the same dynamic when you talking some of your cohorts and you talking with Skip. That should probably be lame and boring. But I could totally see Underdog making a business move like that. So we're gonna keep the arena and we're gonna go full with our cast of characters. And I could see Kenyon, Josiah Nick, BJ. Yeah. I can see them moving over there to Gil. You got Josiah in the middle, you got Gil, you got Nick, you got BJ, you got Kenyon. I can see that, man. Because I most certainly couldn't see Nick Young staying at Underdog and not going over there with his homie Gil. BJ, can I see BJ doing that, bro? I don't know, bro. I want to give BJ more real nigga points than that. I want to feel like BJ wouldn't. I think Kenyon would, because I think Kenyon thinks he can. Cause we spoke about Kenyon earlier in some videos when he was going back and forth with some of the dumb shit he did. He said that he thought he could carry it, and he got mad at somebody because they told him, they were like, "Nah, Kenyon Martin ain't the type of guy to carry a show. Like, he could be a cool guest, but as the main guy, he took offense to that. So I think he thinks he could carry a show. So I could probably see him staying with Underdog. I most certainly could see Rashad doing it. You know what I'm saying? That'd be crazy though, bro. We gonna see, but he says it's gonna be a couple months. Maybe I think he's waiting, which would probably be a good move. Kind of just let the dust settle and come back right there close to basketball season, what have you. But he's confident that the minute he started this new show with whatever cast he got coming, and if it's not the OG cast, bro, I wouldn't be so confident that everybody gonna flock to it. Because I don't know that everybody flocked to it because of Gil. It was because of Gil and all the other personalities pinging off each other and all of that. I don't know that people like, oh, Gilbert Arenas to go follow. Now he getting a lot of views from the little videos he making now because it's messy shit going on. Everybody trying to figure out what's happening, but we're talking about just an everyday daily podcast. You can never be sure that you're gonna recreate the magic of something that hit in the entertainment world, because a lot of time things hit that you wouldn't you didn't think. You dig what I'm saying? I don't know if there's a particular formula to it, so he better be careful with that, man. As he makes his comeback to this podcasting thing. You dig what I'm saying? Now let's move on to a couple other sports figures before we get out of here, man. What y'all think about first of all, Ray J got knocked out. Ray J may have a little brain down. I heard that they finna sue they finna sue Aiden Ross, and the fight was supposed to have been rigged. It was just a bunch of mess, but he had two good May knots right on the front of his forehead. You understand what I'm saying? Super hot fire. The meme that lives on. Knocked him smooth, clean out. I don't even. And Ray J's supposed to be a gangster, bro. I guess he'd probably gun shoot you or something. You know what I mean? Don't like he'll beat you up with his hands too tough. But it was hard to see, man. We hate to see our black leaders be put in such a position these days. You dig what I'm saying? Shout out Brandon's little brother. Now, Jaxson Dart is who he's gonna move on to. His little retarded self. He's so stupid. Cuz got, they be on his head. They've been on his head this past week because he chose to go and introduce Donald Trump here about a week ago or so. He came out and made a little announcement, addressed the media yesterday, I think, after some practices and all of that. Didn't really say much, bro, but I mean, he went to Ole Miss, cuz, you know what I'm saying? Ole Miss is on that list of what we was talking about, racist schools of which, um, due to the gerrymandering being done down here in these Confederate states. You dig what I'm saying? There's a movement that's calling for these athletes that's going to D1 colleges the next coming years or so to not go to SEC schools. Now I got to say, I'm torn on this issue. For one, it's gonna be hard to tell an athlete how to pursue their next level in their collegiate athletics. You understand what I'm saying? These are big decisions that people been working towards their whole life. You know what I mean? There's only so many programs you can go to and get the right kind of look and NIL money, all this, that, and third. And so, I don't know that I would expect anyone to put their future at risk uh, for me and my suggestions on what we need to do to prove a point to the man. You know what I'm saying? I get where you're coming from, but if you don't have a kid that's pursuing a D1 scholarship that you can actively see what it's like to have to pivot off of that, I don't think you can tell a person to just wholesale do that, man. It's family implications and all of that. But again, Ole Miss is on one of those, is on that list. They have a huge Confederate flag flying over their campus. You understand what I'm saying? And so I'm not particularly surprised by Jaxson Dart um, having those kind of sympathies, but it's another level of it, bro. When you go out there and want to make it public, especially now, it'd been different. If it was 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Before everybody knew what was really going on and seeing what's really happening with bro. So to come out at, at this stage in the game, it's just like, bro, you are a complete shit. I picture Jaxson Dart. Jaxson Dart probably got a burner on X. I would not doubt it. I would not doubt that Jaxson Dart has a burner on X, and he's one of the nigger people. You know what I'm saying? The hard R's, the 13% commit 86% of the crime, the Africa living mud huts, the none of y'all got your dad. I swear to God, bro, I would not put it past him to have a burner on X with a picture of an eagle and some numbers in his handle. You dig what I'm saying? Retweet nothing but QAnon. I would not put it past him. Because again, to be in a position you're in a place like New York City, that Trump is from, that hate him, didn't vote for him, like to do that in New York, bro, it's like, what? He's just an ultimo chud, you know what I mean? Like the adulation that he's gonna get from his in group, supersedes and overstands the vitriol that he gonna get from the naysayers. You know what I'm saying? Whether they right or wrong, you know what I mean? Just the feeling of being a patriot, man. You know what I'm saying? Doing his good deed for the 1760, 76 for whatever the hell y'all stupid as y'all call it. You know, a red blooded American, lame ass. Yeah, man, stupid as hell. Bro, I be on X. Boy, I go crazy on that. I swear to God, I get banned every month, bro, for like a week. Cause I go retarded on that. You dig what I'm saying? Boy, I would say the craziest things, especially to a marker. Them the only people I got a problem with, you know. People of all colors out there, you know, I'm the realest nigga alive. I'm the coolest cat. But if you are Marco, I hate every cell in your body. Huh? So yeah, I go on there and go crazy. Where we at? We passed the hour. What's gonna be our coup de grace, man, before we take it up out of here? You dig what I'm saying? Yeah, I guess since we talking about X and shit. Shout out Flock, man. Poetic Flocko, bro. Flock been on the heater. Flock been on the heater here lately, man. Now, I ain't gonna hold you. This ushers in my YouTube rant, my weekly YouTube rant. Now, I should be saying to say shit. I'm a real nigga. So when the Chud thing came out about the bill and bail being denied, and he begging Aiden Ross to get him. I just when all the news hit, bro, I said this is gonna be my viral moment, bro. Like, cause I had just caught some news. Now I'm sure some other people had heard it, but as far as like creators, I pay attention to and things I feel like I need to do to get me in the algorithm and go crazy one good time to prepare me on into the next level. You know, these are things I look at. So I get my video done. Boom. Editing, all that. Boom. I sit down to upload it and I turn on my YouTube and I scroll across Poetic Flocko. He had just dropped a video on it. The video had been up at this point an hour, bro. And if I ain't mistaken, that shit had like 104,000, like 114,000. I'm like, oh my God. But I said, this is my lick, bro. I'm gonna be early, I'm gonna be an early contributor. I'm finna get me some racks and racks and racks on this one. This on. Bro. Let me see. I ain't even gonna look at it. Bro, I don't even want to tell you. I mean, I know immediately after a little time, it probably had like 17. It's so funny how this shit go over here, man. Some things will run up right quick. Some won't do nothing for 3-4 days, then go crazy. It's just funny. But it's like you try to get in the algorithm, you try to get something out as soon as you hear the news, only to have YouTube send it to 500 people for a test sample, and then they use those numbers to determine how much they gonna really roll it out the next day or two, whatever like that. So you know, you'll look up, like I say, man. I think I did a live that probably had 3 views at the time. I look at it last week, it's got thousands all of a sudden. So, you know, that's how it goes, man. But Flock been on the heater, bro. And one of the recent shows he put out, the little guy that's one of Chill's, I guess you call handlers or advocates or whatever, some guy on Twitter. They've been going back and forth, you know what I'm saying? Dude is swearing that Flocko is intentionally trying to harm Chud and you know what I mean, mess up his case and all that. And Flock just really just keep making videos off them boys, getting 150,000 a hit. Flock put his camera up, and it wasn't all off of these Chud videos, but he put his phone up to the camera. They made that nigga $122,000 last month. And I'm sure a lot of them came, but he put out a lot of videos per day, but he really went crazy with those Chud ones, man. But nevertheless, Chud is still locked up. I hope he's having a load of fun in there with those black guys that he loves to go and find them. So he is in a place where there's a good number. I'm not saying that it's all niggas locked up, but I'm sure he's in a place where there's a good number of them that he can go and have contact with if he so chooses, man. But we'll see. But that's Flock. Shout out Flock, man. Flock been on the heat on them boys. So I'm trying to follow along, man. You dig what I'm saying? But like I said, we are past our hour, people. And I'm gonna get ready to get out of here, man. Go find me something to eat. I'm getting hot all of a sudden for some reason, man. Maybe these lights been on my face a little bit too much. So before I start gushing sweat like a damn pig, I'm gonna get out of here, man. It's been straight like that live. I get it, y'all.